Hello, everyone. Just wanted to share a devotional this evening with you from Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. It says, "As you therefore have received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith as you have been taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving." So what we're just looking at here is it's a reminder to us, those of us in the faith. This is obviously Paul talking to believers and believers that have been believers for a little bit of time and maybe have come upon maybe some different teachings or are confused about things. He's saying what you need to do is go back to the foundation of it. What you need to do is go back to the way you were taught to believe, the foundations of your faith. And we'll look at Ephesians, just moving over to Ephesians chapter 2, verses 20 to 22, it says this: "Having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone." So that's part of the foundation. Jesus Christ is the cornerstone, and then you build off of that. If you know about building, the corner is very important. The corner holds everything together. You take away the corner, the building comes down, especially the cornerstone, the way it was built when buildings were just built out of solid bricks of stone. There was like a keystone basically, and if you take that stone away, it starts to fall apart. So without Jesus Christ, our faith falls apart. He is the cornerstone of our faith, and then the apostles and prophets built on that cornerstone, and so we're supposed to as well. Continuing in verse 21 of Ephesians chapter 2, "In whom the whole building, being fitted together, grows into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you also are being built together for a dwelling place of God in the Spirit." So we're looking at basically your spiritual life, making sure your spiritual life is built on the correct foundation, not just a foundation, the correct foundation, and that correct foundation is Jesus Christ, who is the perfect foundation for faith in him, obviously. If you build your faith on Jesus Christ, you will not fall prey to false teachings or false teachers. You should be able to point out the false, the knockoffs pretty easily because you're built on the true thing. Like you should be able to point out a counterfeit quite easily because you study the real deal on a consistent basis. And that's how they do when catching the counterfeiters of money. They don't study the fakes. They study the real bill. They know the ins and the outs, every aspect of the real bill of money, if we're talking paper money, right? And when they see the fake, they know right away, yeah, no, that's not real. And that's the same thing with our faith. We should be spending our time studying the real aspects, doctrines, and theology of the faith, of true faith. And when somebody comes talking some nonsense, some foolishness, somebody comes talking all kinds of different things, trying to pull people away to themselves, or Satan sends someone along, the fake, and you say, no, that's not what Jesus would say, and that's definitely not true belief in Jesus. So, and we can also equate it to being like a tree. A tree that's rooted and built up is established, right? If you ever see these nice giant trees, they're extra tall, right? But their root system goes deep. It's reached down deep so that tree can grow taller. If the tree grows too tall for its root system, what happens? It just falls over. And if you've ever seen a tree get knocked down by the wind, you see sometimes the craters they leave are humongous because the root system was deep. Maybe the tree was old, or maybe it was sick. But a tree that is rooted and built up is established. And what else is it? It's strong, and it's actually good for many things. In time, it's good for shade. Sometimes it's good for food. Sometimes it's good for shelter. Sometimes it's good for wood. It's good for many things. But what we need to do in our spiritual life is be like that tree. We need to be like that tree that it's rooted in the Lord. Our walking with the Lord should be like that tree, rooted deeply in the Lord, right? So we need to be rooted. We need to be built up. We need to build on that foundation. We need to be established. Establish our faith so that we know there's nothing's going to take us away from it. We need to be strong. We need to be good for many things. So that's my encouragement to you tonight. Be like a tree that's rooted deeply in the ground. Be rooted in Jesus Christ. Be built up, established, strong, and good for many things.